I've got a first question I really want to ask you.
Okay.
It's got nothing to do with VeVe or ecomi. A few months ago, I was still new to VeVe, and I'd bought Omi at the start of the year. But at this phase, I was testing out the collectibles. I'm not a collectibles guy. Well, I wasn't. And so I was still in that phase of like, what's this app like? If I'm investing in Omi tokens, I want to see what the user experience of the app is like to see if this thing is going to be able to be rolled out on a wide scale. So as I'm in the middle of it, Matt sent me a YouTube video and he's like, check out this guy. And since then, I've come to love Randy Chavez. He's just...
Which video was it?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
I think to me, you've become like a friend that I don't know. So like right now I'm on this call and I'm like, yeah, it's Randy, he's here. But really, I don't know you at all, Randy. But like, because of the nature of the way that you do your thing on YouTube, it's just hanging out with you and you're just doing you. But you're just hanging and you're talking, which I really love. Sorry, continue, Pato. But I don't know which video it was.
I don't remember what it was, but I just remember, I'm like, this is not a format I'm used to. Like it's like, take me as I am. I'm not going to polish everything. You didn't have the OTS on the fridge behind you.
Oh yeah, no, that's recent, the last month or so, 2 months, 2 months there.
But I'm like, this is an all-in guy. And so it was just that, like, I am not an all-in guy by nature. I'm pretty risk averse. But Randy is like all in on the Omi token, all in on VeVe collectibles. And it's just something I would never have the balls to do. But I'm like, okay, there's people who are so passionate about this project. And Randy's one of them. And I've learned heaps about VeVe and about Omi from Randy. So if I ever need a bit of a boost and a bit of hype and I'm not 100% sure about my investments, I'm like, all right, it's Randy time. So
watch the video.
Super pumped to have Randy join us on our journey, our ridiculous journey. So welcome, Randy.
Thank you.
I need to ask a very important question.
Yeah, sure.
Or anyone has asked you this before. Have you hung out with heaps of Aussies before, or Brits? Because I have one piece of evidence that I will tender.
Okay.
This is my evidence that makes me think that you've hung out with Aussies before.
Okay.
You say mate more than any other American. I've never heard an American say the word mate.
That's true.
That is true. I am pretty what's that called? Not easily influenced by people and very impressionable. So like when I get out of like a movie, I'll just like act like the main character from that movie, like for like the rest of the day, or at least the next hour. So when I have a bunch of people, like only half the people that watch me are in the US. A lot of people are in England. Like I think couple percent is Australia. So a lot of people have said, "Oh, you're a good mate." You're just so I was like, so that just gets into my vernacular where everyone says like, "Hey, nice job, friend." It's like, "Oh, thanks, mate." And I'll just respond to them in comments or that type of thing. So
you're just cosmopolitan. That's what it is. So
cosmopolitan, like the drink, like.
It's sort of like a more sophisticated way. You're a Renaissance
You're
man.
A man of the world.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
I mean, and same thing happens with our friend Neo here. His real name is Mr. Anderson, and then he saw the movie and was just way too easily.
Yeah, it was really skyrocketed my popularity in high school. So thank you, Warner Brothers.
So we're all, the four of us, me, Joe, Neo, and Matt, are all at varying stages of our Omi and VeVe journey. But we're all together in this one aim, and that's to trade up or sell up from a thing to Donny. Are we insane?
I mean, I've only, out of the small time amount that I've spent with you guys, you seem fairly normal. I mean, I think the only ridiculous thing about it, and it's and maybe even not, is that there's such a big difference between Donny and the next person that's close to Donny. Like there was this guy, Instagram or YouTube, where he got a really cool rock and he wanted to flip his way to a house. So he would trade for like things here and there, a couple dollars here, and he flipped his way to like a motorcycle, like a $5,000 motorcycle. I don't know. I kind of fell off with him. I don't know where he exactly landed or whatever, but it took him a while, but he did it. So I think it's just trying to find different ways to be creative. And I think the thing that limits you guys is the fact that you're going to try to stay within the app. And again, there's such a big difference between Donny and the next one. So what you'd probably have to do at some point is veer off and go from one collectible to buying two, and then to getting a couple, to getting a bunch. What are you guys up to right now?
The thing.
You didn't flip it yet?
No.
We're still in the planning phase.
Yeah.
Okay, so the best.
Maybe we're overthinking it.
I think the best thing to do is just do. I mean, even if you make a mistake here or there, because I mean, the thing is, what, like you bought for like $9, $10, you said?
$5.
Oh, you bought it for $5. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, so you're already like doubled.
Yeah.
So I would sell that and definitely try for a drop. So like, hey, I bought this, I'm gonna sell it here, and then try for a comic or or something like this that we had today, the stamp drop. And most likely you'll just get commons if you get it at all. You might have to wait a little while. But at some point you'll get an uncommon or a rare, and then you'll be able to get a couple of these, and that'll just get the ball rolling. I think anyone in this that's right now it's so new. Anyone that either understands NFTs or that they kind of are in that kind of little bit of a nerd world. They're kind of like, all right, maybe you're not like a Chad. Maybe you're not like captain of the football team, or right. I feel like anyone that's in the NFT world, either in finance or techie, and I think that we're a lot of us are nerds. I have both the Nintendo people like tattooed on me, so I'm very much a nerd too. So most people here, I think that's why a lot of people identify with me as well, because it's like, oh, this guy speaks our language. But the flipping to it's a fun goal, and it's just to see like if you can do it. It's just to see like it's one of those things that anyone can try to. I remember a friend of mine, Ian, that when we were in the military together, he signed up on his day off to go through like this brutal and we were in the Air Force. He signed up for like this brutal like Marine training camp, like one day or like 12-hour course or whatever, where you're supposed to do like X amount of miles, crawl on your hands and knees. Like I can understand if we had to do that like for actual training for whatever, but did it on his day off. And it's like you're not going like on a deployment where you need to do this. Like, yeah, I just want to see if I can do it. So I think this is a bit more fun and a bit more, and you make more money with it, as far as seeing if you can do it. Because even if you fail, even if you don't get there, you're gonna have fun. You're gonna learn. You're gonna have an experience that I don't think too many other people are gonna try, and you're gonna make money. So I don't think it's insane. I think it's fun. Might take a long time. But
are you saying also that if we succeed, that we will, all four of us, become like highly trained military operatives?
Should we sort of go through what stages of our journey we're at?
Yeah, are you all doing it separately? Like you all got the thing each, or is it just like group project, like and brainstorm? Here's our next move, and
I think we all have it, right?
Okay.
You've got Neo, you don't have the thing.
I've got one.
Okay. Well, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, no.
You can get one.
If anyone needs one, I think I have like 12. So
Can you keep buying them up so you can create some more scarcity? That would be
so I did that with Selena, because there was no rhyme or reason for it, or there was a little bit. I looked at the Myrmicornos and the Unicornos, and the Myrmicornos, those commons like Gelatina, had 9,000 editions made, and then I looked at the Unicornos, and those commons had only like 5,500 made. I was like, well, there's already 3,500 less of these, so I might as well. So I just picked Selena because I did, and nothing really came out. I started buying them when they were like 20 each, and it kind of worked. I started selling them at like 38, and it went down like 34. But the thing, there's a lot of things though. It would take me a lot of money. Yeah, I have 12 of them. There's 29,000 of them made, so that would take but there's only 533 available. That's really interesting.
So that's halved in the space of a week. There were 1,000 1 week ago.
They did do a thing where they took all of the listings that were like a month or so old, and they took them off, so it forced people to relist them. But even still, the floor is now $15, which is nice. But it's going to take me to 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. It's going to take me 14 things, so to get it to 16. So I would have to, in a sense, spend about $210 to move it $1.
Randy, do you want to buy one more thing?
Yeah, sure. I'll buy one. If it's for the stream, I'll do it for the stream.
You're gonna buy our shitty thing?
I can buy your thing. Yeah, put it up on the market. I'll buy your thing. I'll be your first.
You actually are?
Amazing.
Yes. Yes.
Not just any buyer
I go
too.
for a baker's dozen. I'll go for a baker's dozen. Let me know when you post it, and then I'll buy it.
Legend.
Our first sale is Randy Chavez. This is like this completely made my day, man. It's so
So
good.
great.
I had this thing the other day. So one of you list it, and I'll buy it. While you're doing that, I'll tell a story where I was on just on a stream, and someone asked, "Would you want one of these or like 3 of these?" And I was like, "Well, I'd rather 3 of these, even if that one thing is worth more right now. That one thing's already at a high price. These things have room to grow, and then you can go and sell 1 or 2 of them, take some profit, and then still have one of those things left." And then somebody commented like, "I would only want it if it was once held by the real Randy Chavez, because all these are confirmed on the blockchain." And so you essentially do have that proof of ownership, or it's digitally signed because it was in your ownership. So I think at some point there's going to be people that collect, oh, this was held by like Taps Trades or Dan Lee or the real Randy Chavez, or they would want one that was held by a bunch of them somehow. So yeah, I'll buy your thing though, and then
And this is going to work so well for you as well, because you'll be holding a thing that was once held by the thing.
Yeah, that was the first step.
That's right. Okay, hang on. I have to adjust the listing because you're gonna laugh at what I originally listed it for. It's been there for like how long? Maybe a week or so. And I listed it for hopefully for $22.99. It's number 4,076.
Is that expensive? That's overpriced, right?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, a little bit.
No, Matthew, it's not. It's the right price. That's what we're going for. Right, everyone?
This is a trade up. Okay,
There's only 500 available now to purchase.
That's true, actually. That's true.
So Randy, I do a special price for you.
I was hoping.
So what number was it again? So I don't buy the wrong thing.
It's 4,076.
4,076.
It's not 5,000.
But Chris, interestingly, it's below 5,000.
Yeah, I smell a bit of hype.
Smell a bit of desperation.
I'm so glad that Pato, you're not one of the people that's just listing like for a ridiculous price, like 1.2 million gems. Because you know how you see that every now and again, and you're like, wow, like I don't get it. I don't get the point of that. Like obviously, no one's that stupid. Has anyone?
It'd be a really short podcast, right?
Yeah, right.
I do think.
Name your price.
Well, I mean, is it? Did you delist it?
I haven't delisted it yet. I'll do it now.
Okay. So I think that there, at some point, there will be a bunch of people coming in with like that Arab money, with like oil money or something where they go along the lines and they say, you know what, they get really drunk one night. And these I'm talking about people that go on and they rent out restaurants on like a Tuesday for their family, and it costs them like $30,000 for like $100 meal. That'll come on and be like, I just want it. I'm just gonna flex. So
Yeah,
I think that'll happen at some point.
that's been speculated, hasn't it? When we're able to send our collectibles to OpenSea, there'll be people that are Ethereum rich just sweeping the floor with comics and things like that.
It's gonna be nuts.
what do you think the impact of listing on OpenSea is going to be? Like, because I've heard a differing opinions. Some people think it's going to just be an exodus from the VeVe app. But then, it could go either way with prices. What do you reckon?
I think that when you have a bunch of people that wanted to originally go and buy these NFTs like they are right now, but they can't because they only have most of their money in Ethereum, and they have to go and take their Ethereum and sell that. And basically, it takes too many steps to try to, one, have their crypto taxed just so they could buy something, and not only pay tax on that again, because it costs them $380 to put in 350 gems in there. At least it does for me. I don't know why. And I think some people in Europe get screwed too, because they have to pay in euros, and they only get it in dollars, for gems. So it kind of rough for them. But I would say that all these people that are ETH rich, prices are probably going to skyrocket. And I think that a lot of people like myself that, when Omi moons and we are able to buy NFTs with Omi, we would probably have, I'll probably get a couple of things that I wouldn't have otherwise gotten.
Hey, Randy, I'm kind of a bit newer to this whole caper, but I had a bit of a fundamental question. I've watched a bit of your story, and I understand that you're kind of all in with VeVe, all in with Omi. Are you worried that there's no way to convert gems to fiat yet?
No, because I've seen this before with Earth 2, where companies in general have issues, especially tech companies. And I've seen it before where they had PayPal, and then people are going in and out really quickly. They're putting in like $1,000, taking out like 20,000. It was insane for early days of Earth 2. And then a couple of people got a little salty for whatever reason, that the hype started dying down, and they go and they withdraw or they weren't sure of the 5% tax that they take, and they go and they say, "Oh, I didn't know about this 5% tax. This is a fee. This is like hidden fees." And a couple people would call it a scam to PayPal, and they actually lost PayPal because through no fault of their own, just a bunch of people saying like, "Hey, we have to withdraw this money because we think this is a scam." And enough people do that, it sets off a trigger in PayPal saying, "Oh, we have to hold all this money that's in here." And they had to do something different with their MTL as well. They still don't have the direct to fiat in the US. You have to withdraw it to a Revolut card, and then use that Revolut card and transfer it to your bank. So I've seen it before, and money transmitter licenses do take a while. And I think they want to make it sure that it's worldwide, and it's not just in like Australia, or it's not just in Europe, and they're excluding any countries. So I'm pretty chill with it.
I'm glad you're relaxed about it. For your sake.
This is the thing though, Joe, like the FUD, I don't know who said this yesterday. I was on some YouTube binge, and it was like, at what point does the FUD become ridiculous when they're onboarding brands like Disney and, like just keep upping the ante, and, US Postal Service most recently. I missed out on that this morning, frustratingly. But yeah, it just seems like whenever people come out and say, oh, like, because my mind goes there as well. As an investor, I've invested, money into the Omi token, starting back in March this year, and I've been averaging in this whole time. And I definitely have those moments where I'm like, well, like, what if this is some rug pull waiting to happen? Your mind goes there at dark moments, but then the fundamentals just continue to become stronger and stronger, at least for me. And that, back in March, they weren't as strong, but they still had like DC and, Powerpuff Girls and whatever it was when I first started investing.
I had a very dark day about a week or two ago. It's the time moves so quickly in crypto land, but like Matt was the one who got me into Omi at the start of the year. He was like, yeah, just check this thing out. Even crypto generally, I was very skeptical about. And then Matt's like, give us a crack. I was like, well, if he's going into it, it's good, baby.
You should never do what I do. You should know this by now. We've known each other a long time.
I'm like, well, if Matt's lost his mind, then I'll lose my mind. And but yeah, like Matt been averaging in since then, and then sort of split. So now I'm like 50-50 in the VeVe collectibles and the Omi token, which I never thought would happen because I'm not a collectibles guy. Neo is. And I just got addicted to the app, Randy. Like I can't stop buying things. Like I can't stop. It's
addictive.
And there was this dark day where it was I think I saw the price started to drop again, and then there was this talk like, will they ever get this what is it, money transfer license? Is that it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, I also need to pay my taxes. Like my tax bill arrived. I'm like, oh shit, I thought there was going to be a return, but I owe money, and I can't cash out my collectibles even if I sold them now. Holy crap, what do I do? And I'm like, this was a bad call. This was a really bad call. And that day they announced
You sold a child.
I messaged Matt as a gag.
A very dark story.
Yeah, that got really dark. I was like, I'm like, Matt, I panic sold all my Omi. I'm so sorry. Matt's like, no, are you joking? Are you joking? I just let it go for maybe a minute or two. And then just a nice little gotcha.
I think I probably replied with a Randy video. Like,
yeah, basically.
this is why you're going to regret it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, happily keep on holding, because as you say, like these announcements just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And as they get bigger, like my faith in it sort of grows. Hey, Neo, can you tell us a bit about your like collectibles boy status? Because this is like your dream come true, is that you've finally got us on board with collecting the same stuff that you've been doing for years.
I think Collector Boy is a very generous naming convention. I think one of my questions for you, Randy, was going to be, how do you pick which NFT to go for in like a fairly large drop? So there might, like the more recent one that comes to mind was the second season of the Labbits.
Mm-hmm.
And there was maybe 6 that came out. And I was just, I think given how hard it is to secure something on the drops these days, you got to hedge your bets and try for, or I guess my strategy is to maybe go for an uncommon or a common, because I think that the app crashes if you go for anything a bit harder. Just because obviously the demand's there. But it was interesting to see that the common Labbit ended up valuing higher than the uncommon, which is the one I went for and the one I got. And then I was like,
oh, nice.
Like, but then you look at it and you go, oh, I made the wrong call, because should I have gone for the common one? And is there any sort of play that you, or assessment that you make when a release comes that you go, that's the one that's going to exponentially go up, even though it's a common or an uncommon or whatever?
I would say if you look at them, collect which one you like, because whichever one looks cool to you, probably going to look cool to others as well. Like if you go back on, I think the Mermicornos, the Unicornos, there's one called like Metallo. It's just badass. It's just a badass pony.
We were talking about that just last night. I was like, that would be a really cool one to have.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
But for that one, the reason why I went to get all of them, because Frank Kozik had said that, hey, we're going to try to breed these at some point. I don't know exactly what he means by breeding. I don't know exactly if we're going to be able to do it once, if we're going to do it multiple times, like a Ditto in a Pokemon breeding center.
Hey, Labbit.
Yeah, I mean, for like
G-rated podcast, Randy.
So those are the ones that will probably be going on OpenSea first. And supposedly, I don't know if it's that one or if it's the breakfast cereal mascots. I think it's the breakfast cereal mascots, where if you get all 12 of them, there's going to be a third series of them. A secret rare 13th is going to pop out. But I think that at the end of the day, sometimes the internet takes over, where I was thinking, oh, this secret rare, I need to get this first, and then I'm going to get everything else, because I'm thinking like Master Collector Program points, thinking whatever. But then that common that animated comic was more expensive than the secret rare. It's more expensive than a lot of things because the internet just took over. It's just a bunch of people saying like FOMOing into this cute bunny with vomiting a rainbow. So I think sometimes you really can't tell.
It's interesting because I grew up sort of collecting stuff, and part of me was like, oh, maybe I've got a good handle on what could be desired versus what's not. And for the most part, I don't think I've been very successful.
Neo, do you have any of your physical collectibles there that we can have a look at?
I wish I did. I don't, but some of the ones that I have over the years.
Hey.
Oh, that's very cool.
This is my last two. I sold my first edition BGS Raichu.
Oh my god!
So these are the last two that I have. The last two things that will feed my bank account for the next 2 months before I can cash out.
What are they valued at, Randy? Those two, do you think?
There's been a little bit of a disagreement between me and the buyers because I think they're worth a lot more than people are willing to pay for them right now. The Blaine's Arcanine, if I could probably sell it for like maybe 1,800, but I don't want to. It's like so beautiful. There's like 150 of them in the world, at least as PSA 10. And the Masaki Omastar, I think is double rare because it's a Masaki one. You could only get this by getting an Almanite and trading it in, and they sent it back to you back in '98. And it's, I don't know if any of you guys know Pokemon, what the Helix Fossil is, the fully evolved form of the Helix Fossil. So this one's probably 2,500. I can tell right now. So between both of them, I guess 4,300, give or take.
And
let's hope that MTL comes through.
Yeah.
Are you gonna buy more Omi with those final two sales, or are you done now? You've got your position?
I don't. Maybe. I do have this one withdrawal pending on Earth 2, where I sold some tiles that were not in my mega city, and I should be able to buy another 500,000 Omi with that. But I'm still pending, so I'm still waiting.
Yeah.
Hopefully that gets done in the next couple of days, though.
I have a bit of a question around your strategy in terms of collecting, because I know that you're a bit of a whale in terms of the collectibles that you have as well. I don't know how many you have total. Is it like hundreds or thousands now?
It's hundreds. I had more up until recently, where I had like 45 sets. I was doing really well, but I sold a couple of them for more Omi. I had like 112 million at some point, and then I decided to go and sell my Lucky Rabbit. I sold a ultra rare Spider-Man, and I sold something else. Oh, the secret rare gold Dragon Girl. Is for like 1 point something million Omi. That in conjunction. So I got more. But the only reason I did is because I think some of these things that are thousands of dollars already, probably could they 10x at some point? Yeah, probably. But I think it's much easier for Omi to 10x than it was for these. So I could just sell these and same thing I'm doing with Pokemon cards, selling these, buying Omi, and then I'll buy everything back at some point.
Okay, that's your plan. Okay, because like for me, like I have a handful of collectibles, but I'm way more interested in the token as an investment. And I know it's sort of interesting, like Pato, as you were saying before, like you made a big purchase recently with the Todd McFarlane Batman. Is that right? And that's like shot up recently.
I have a confession to make. I bought two.
You bought two?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Really good. And so that's interesting because I sort of think, I don't necessarily trust that market as much as I trust that the token will, once the utility's baked in and it's ERC20 and everything, I feel like I just feel safer about it as an investment. But yeah, it's interesting. Like, is your strategy to be more 50-50, Randy, or you're just everything's going to be about the token in the short term?
I mean, now that I sold those, I would say I have maybe, but the collection's probably worth maybe about 80K, give or take, and maybe a little bit more, and then the Omi's worth. I haven't even checked it all day. How confident I am. I'm past the point where I'm checking it every day. But let's say it's like 0.006.
I think it's a little higher, like 6.8, right?
Oh, very good. In which case, let's go 6.5. About almost $750,000. So I have well more than, or maybe about 9 maybe about 9 times as much of the coin as I do the collectibles. But outside of Omi, the collectibles are my biggest asset. That's my biggest position. And I think that there is a chance that a minority chance that that stuff just goes crazy, and everything that I sold doesn't 10x, it like 40x's, and it's like, oh, all right, well, made a mistake. I mean, I don't know. I've been doing the opposite of what the Todd Father did. Todd Father had 40 million Omi, sold it all for more collectibles. That was before the Master Collector Program article came out, though. And the reason why I'm getting all of these, or why I got all of them in the past, is because I wanted to get made sure I got at least a couple of pieces of land in the VeVe-verse. And if the VeVe-verse is just going to be blind box anyway, and we're not sure exactly where we're going to get, we just know we're going to get a parcel of land in the VeVe-verse without having to buy on the secondary market, then I'm essentially, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to have to pay for what I want on the secondary market anyway. So I might as well just get as much Omi as I can. So I haven't reached out to Ray Fix yet. I don't think I'd sell my whole collection. I would sell a couple more things in it, though, just because he always wants everything.
Can you explain the VeVe-verse to the uninitiated?
Yeah, sure. So what they want, what is probably going to be and what they want to do are two very different things. It'll probably be years apart, but most likely what it's going to be is picture something similar to like a Mario Party, like early Mario Party, where everyone's got on these dots, and these dots will probably represent like the roads and other places. At some point you'll have houses, and on houses, you get a house on your land automatically. And supposedly what it's going to be similar to Animal Crossing, where, hey, you have enough points or Omi, you can upgrade your house, and it's going to be a flex. It's going to be, hey, you start off with a 1-story house, you pay enough Omi, you pay enough points, whatever, you get 2 and 3 and 4 stories, and maybe you can build wide, whatever you want to do. And you'll be able to have parties on there, show off your collectibles, essentially like a showroom. I know 2.0 hasn't come out yet, but a showroom maybe 3.0, because putting it around your property would be fun. I think there's going to be races between, the Ecto-1s and the DeLoreans, and maybe even riding on the Mermicornos, and people on hoverboards riding on top of that. I think we're going to be able to go and have that. That's going to be the light gamification. Maybe it's just going to be something similar like Grab Bag from Mario Party, where we put in points or Omi and we go try to get it. But eventually it's going to be like towards the end of the decade, like a Ready Player One, full on battle, free for all, and it's just going to be bananas, and I can't wait.
And how like with that sort of context, how significant was the announcement recently that Facebook is now Meta?
Oh, I loved it. I love that they're bringing, because if you talk to someone about like a metaverse, I know most people are gonna be like, can you define that for me? I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. But now when you have a company that's big like Facebook, that is, I don't know if they did this. He's been talking about this for several months. Came out the article, I think, in like April or February. It was very early. I think it was before that, where he had said that he has 10,000 people working on the metaverse. And at the time I was just covering Earth 2. It was like, this is great news. I think he did this for 2 reasons. One, because he's a beast, and Mark Zuckerberg sees ahead. Like, he's one of those people, like an Anakin Skywalker, like sees things before they happen, Jedi type of person. And he knows read the writing on the wall. He knows where things are going. The other thing, I think, is that he's tried to stay relevant with Facebook by buying Instagram, attaching Reels to Facebook, and buying WhatsApp, tried to buy Snapchat, but failed. And a lot of people that use Facebook are older. I don't think any teen or early 20s people use Facebook. So I think this is his attempt to recapture some of that audience, and do that as well, because it's an adapt or die world. So I'm very excited for it. It's bringing attention to the space.
There's a photo from years ago on Facebook where Zuckerberg, I think he's got photos of his 2 pet goats, and one of them is called Bitcoin. Have you seen that photo?
No,
it's from it's from years and years ago, because he has like chickens and stuff in his backyard. And when I saw that, I was like, clearly he's been interested in crypto for a long time. I mean, shouldn't make too many assumptions. Maybe it was a joke, but he's really super interested in it. But but because Facebook is such a legacy product now, it's got all these things baked in that are very Web 2. It's been difficult to shift into the new world that's coming, that I believe is coming. I think a lot of people agree, but I'm pretty into it. A lot of people, when I say Web 3, are like, what the fuck are you talking about? But yeah, it's so
Can you
interesting.
explain Web 3 actually? Because I can't really grasp it well enough.
It's essentially decentralization. So at the moment we have Web 2, where centralized bodies like a Facebook control data and the way users interact with each other, and they can change algorithms. Web 3 is peer-to-peer, so user to user, decentralized. So Bitcoin being the first application of that, peer-to-peer money, peer-to-peer cash. And then all the applications that happen after are, peer-to-peer instead of going through a centralized entity. And yeah, with Facebook, the way they're talking about the metaverse is that the users will build it, right? So it's this open source platform for people to build it, which is also really exciting because it's not just about them, telling us what the metaverse is going to be. It's going to be created by the users. We should look up Web3, though. I haven't actually ever looked up a definition before. Let's do that.
But yeah, I agree. That sounds like I said, they'll definitely have some things that are already made in the VeVeverse, and a lot of things will create, and a lot of things will, like I said, peer to peer. I think also they haven't specifically said this, but I think they do want to become a bank and a social network as well. I mean, they already kind of have it with the feed. People ask questions on. The only thing I don't like is you can only upload VeVe photos that you take with VeVe. You can't actually upload normal photos. So maybe they'll fix that at some point. I don't know.
I struggle with the fact that you can't take videos.
Yeah,
You can put it all in reality, you can't record.
That'll come. The showroom 2.0 is already done. They just haven't hit the button on it yet. I don't know what they're ready for. Maybe MTL or Mutable X. I don't know.
So like if we're looking at what's ahead, they've just had the drop for us this morning, for you midday, I think it was, of the US stamps. That was kind of from left field, having a government agency like that's crazy, and I think that's just like so exciting, because if you've got the establishment on board with something like NFTs, I think that's just like mega. What sort of NFTs are ahead?
When you say what NFTs are ahead, can you elaborate on that, son?
So, as in, I guess we're looking at within VeVe, what kinds of NFTs do you think could be coming? What sorts of brands, or what sorts of, you got a stamp, you got a James Bond movie ticket that actually had utility in the real world. Like, what else could there be?
So I think they may or may not do this with these stamps or stamps in the future or whatever, but I think there'll be something. Do you guys have Easy Pass over there?
No.
Easy Pass is a thing. So if I go from New York to New Jersey, I have to pay a couple of tolls to go over the bridge and go over whatever. Instead of paying the toll, like in cash, we have what's called an Easy Pass. You stick it up on your windshield.
Okay, yeah, like A-tag.
So I think what they might do in the future, just as far as the post office is concerned, is give you NFTs and make it similar to like an Easy Pass, saying, oh, hey, you can load up credits on this and you can send postage by this. They have scanners at the post office. They'll scan your QR code. They'll take the money from that and they'll stamp it saying this is good to go. Just another way, instead of having to, which again only takes 2 seconds. It's maybe I guess they could have that COVID angle too. They could say, oh yeah, stop the spread, and no longer have to do use saliva. So I think that could be pretty awesome. But outside of that, that doesn't have to be just for that. Like for the USPS, they could have something where, oh hey, if you have 1 out of 500 or 1,000 golden Mickey Mouses, if they give one, that counts as a fast pass. So for Disney World, you have normal passes, which you have to wait in line, and then there's a fast pass line where you have to pay for it, but it's a lot quicker. So if you have one of these, then maybe that would be real world utility, saying now you get to have fast pass line for that, or free access to a certain part of wherever. Pokemon as well. They've had so many different things. They used to have a little thing you used to put on your belt, like a Pokeball thing. You used to run and you used to get experience points for each step that you take for your Pokemon. They'll probably have something like that when they announce Pokemon as well.
So how, like, because I'm new to collecting, I can sort of understand the nostalgia hook, like, and like Neo, you're massive into this. Like, I know this is something you've said before, and Randy, like, I heard you talk about this a couple of days ago. You described nostalgia as like a drug, and I can see that as like a real hook for people into buying VeVe collectibles. But is that sort of the first stage, you know, and then you move to something that, like, Matt, I don't know if you want to talk about your project with Memento, but that has a here and now sort of use. That, like, how far ahead is that from where we are now? It's kind of a fumbly mumbly question. I don't know how to describe it without sort of blowing the load on Memento.
No. We can talk about it. So yeah, I have a Web3 project that I'm building, and it's basically just a really simple way for people to get involved with NFTs. So it's another on-ramp, but through a world that I know. So I've built a Web2 business in live music, and it's just around basically just ticketing. So when you buy a ticket, you register your attendance on a blockchain. In this case, it will be Ethereum. And then that credential gives you access to NFTs that are, I don't want to shill my project here because it's not live or anything, but gives you access to specific NFTs and merchandise specific to that particular show that the artist creates. And so, yeah, we're building that now. And that, you know, that for me is just, that's what I just see the world that I know, particularly in the middle part of the market, you know, making a platform for that, like that, for like working artists, not necessarily like Billie Eilish and all the big ones. I see that will have utility pretty shortly, where you'll, you know, register your attendance. So you're, you know, in the future, you won't say, were you there? I'll be showing you that I was there with a credential on a blockchain, not just like telling you.
All right. Yeah.
And then you'll have NFTs tied to that experience, that, you know, including the ticket stuff. So it's like an NFT ticket stuff, basically.
So you code and you can build, like, engineer?
No, I'm not a tech person. We've got someone like that on our team.
Gotcha.
So there's 3 of us working on it. But yeah, it's just been like really fun. I mean, my whole interest in this space came through ecomi. So the story is, in March, I had a terrible time with crypto. Like, I only invested the equivalent of coffee money, but I just couldn't get it. And then I saw an interview with Dan Crothers on an Australian show, YouTube show, and yeah, it was just really like blown away by the clarity of the vision, and just back in March, and so then I like went in with, you know, I put my position in, and then it like retraced after that, like 80% or 85% or whatever. And then I was like, motherfucker, damn it. But then when that happened, I was like, well, I'm not selling. And then I got involved in the community and started hanging out in the Telegram group. And back then Reese was like in the Telegram, like I could chat to him one-on-one in the Telegram. And I don't know if he's still doing that, but yeah, just sort of learn more and watch more videos like yourself and Kay and Taps Trades and things. And just, so I was like, okay. And then my conviction just became stronger, and then I started getting into it again. But just watching the rate of adoption with their app just made me see like how quickly quote unquote normies will be adopting this behavior. And that collectibles is one on-ramp for people like Neo or Pato or myself or Joe. I know, Joe, you're getting into it now. You have bought some. But like, if you're into collecting, well, it makes more sense for it to be digital and to be on a blockchain. It doesn't make as much sense for them to be physical, right? To me, like, yeah, physical collectibles will always be a thing, but it makes sense for me for them to be digital. They're always with you. They still have value. They don't get ruined and scratched, and like you don't have to put your Pokemon cards in plastic pockets and things like that.
Yeah, carbon neutral, cuts down on, you know, plastic, because they're buying these, it's probably going to be less physical toys being made. So I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Patty, to your question, like, where do you think it's going? I mean, I think it's everything. Like Randy, I think you talk about like how. Oh no, it's actually Cavell talking about the housing market and how that gradually gets sucked into this Web3
Yeah.
world.
I had on Henry Pagliuca a couple of times on my podcast, and he's in real estate now, and he says, listen, I see where this is going. Jobs of real estate, people that show realtors in the real estate market, that won't exist because people will just be on the blockchain. Oh, hey, here's what I get. You can look at the house, the deed will be an NFT. Like, okay, well, that's really interesting. But yeah, I imagine Cavell's talked about that too. I think he's had Henry on as well.
At this point, it feels inevitable, but then you wonder how much of a bubble you're living in, right? Like, because most people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Most of the time.
Are we all drinking the Kool-Aid on ecomi and VeVe? Like, what? That really scares me because I'm like, oh, I'm feeling, not unsure about this thing. Give me some Randy. Come on, give me some Randy right now. Like, I need to be hyped and G'd up about it. Is that a risk, Randy?
I don't think no. I was trying to think like if it was at some point, maybe in 2018, 2019, like before anything, and I'm sure some things were finalized at that point, but before there was a product and they're not making money and they just had to, like, how did they get these licenses? I mean, sure, you had Alcon, the heavyweight, throwing his influence around, and I'm sure David and Dan had money before this and they were giving out Omi left and right. But for the most part, if they were a publicly traded company, or if you were to look at their balance sheet, they would have been bleeding money for years. Only really last year they made a tiny bit off a couple of drops, not that much. Really, only this year are they getting into the black, where they're making, I don't know, like $1 million a drop, give or take, depending on what the drop is. Plus the secondary market fees are insane. But I would say that you wouldn't get all of these companies on board, especially U.S. government, without thoroughly being vetted. I don't know if they had to. For normal security, I don't think they'd get a security clearance to be on with the USPS, but they would have to get verified somehow, like pee in a cup on Zoom. I don't know how they go and they do that, but yeah, I'm sure they were thoroughly vetted, especially if it's from the government. I don't know how they got that.
Are you guys following the Theranos trial on at the moment?
No, what's that?
Basically, a woman, I forget her name. She's basically Silicon Valley. Her idea was, instead of when you go to the doctor and then they need to take a full vial of blood in order to give you information about your health, basically you could just do a pinprick. And then basically she was just shilling this product, saying that it's going to completely revolutionize healthcare and we're going to get all this biometric information, and you can do the pinprick at Walgreens, touting this huge non-existent deal with Walgreens. All these investors piled in, everyone lost a whole bunch of money, but she raised billions and billions of dollars before it all came crashing down.
So she was touting the big thing with Walgreens, but they had never confirmed.
That's right.
That's probably those.
But she also had people faking the lab results and stuff.
She had people. Yeah, it was a full industrial scale
scam
deception.
So I guess the way that they could have tried to do this with this was saying like, and this like pure fantasy land, that would never happen, but they could say like, hey, Mr. Al Khan, these pictures of like your granddaughter or whatever. All right, well, how do you think we got these pictures? We got a trained sniper ready to take her out unless you work for us, unless you do this, and this. And then they go and they hire like 6 private investigators to go to like the postmaster of the post office and say like, hey, so we know that you have like had an affair and you like did something with someone and you uncover all the skeletons in the closet. And he's like, okay, I'll
buy this comic.
Get them to do this. and maybe because they got those 2 contracts on board before anyone else, that's how they got Marvel and Disney and DC, and maybe. And I would be so impressed if they were to do that. But I'd be mad. I'd still be mad. I'd be more shocked. But then yeah, I don't. They would have to go into hiding. They'd have to get facial reconstruction surgery. They can't live normal lives after that.
Joe, after this discussion, are you tempted to buy some Omi, or are you still on the sideline?
No, I'm yolong into this like as soon as this call's done. I haven't watched enough Randy clearly, but I'm all in now. It's been lovely to meet you, Randy.
Joe keeps us grounded. Joe keeps us very grounded.
No longer. Nah. Nah, you can find someone else to keep you grounded.
Randy, I just like there's a major part of all your videos that I either was too late to or I'm just missing something. But who or what is your little mate Dashi over there?
Oh, Dashi. So Dashi I found in a, you ever see those videos where you go into, they might have them near you as well. In New York City, there's a place called Lloyd's where everything in there is stupid expensive. And my friend Lilith was visiting from Austria, and she wanted to go in the store. I was like, okay, we can't breathe. We can't do anything. It's like, yeah, it's fine. So I was like, all right. And this guy's like trying to like pass off. Like I was looking at Dashi, and I was looking at a couple of other things, and it says like, and I look at the price. I was like $10,000. Like, listen, sorry, like I can't. Like I get this probably the cheapest thing in this store, but I just can't do it. And it's like, what could you afford? Like, not even like half of this. And he's like, even if I went down $2,500 to 75, I was like, no, sir, not even half of that. So 5,000 is too much. It's like, yes, sir. And I was like, $800 right now, I'll do it. He's like, well, that's very too little. And I was like, like I said, so he was going back and forth like that. And I said, like, why you were at 10,000, you're down to like 4,000 right now. What's going on? It's like, listen, we buy the estates of people that have died. It's like storage wars for like rich people. And they buy the whole estate, they get everything there. And it's like, we have a giant warehouse that's like 3 times the size of this, that is full, packed already. And we just bought another estate. So we got to get this stuff out of here to move that stuff in. I was like, okay, like 2,000 is like 2,500. I was like, well, whatever he said, I'll just try to get him down. And we agreed at like 2,250. So I got Dashi for 2,250, and that was like the best thing of bartering that I've ever done. 'Cause that was
2,250 or $22.50?
oh, $2,250.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Can you show us Dashi up close? Because I've never seen him up close. Is it like some black and gold?
Yeah, it's a little cool. The big thing that makes Dashi worth a lot, look at those paws, it's so cute, is the necklace and the eyes are Swarovski diamonds. So that's what really makes Dashi monetarily worth a lot. But
We'll trade you a thing for the Dashi.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's right. Nice. Oh,
good.
speaking of which, hang on, I got to check. I've got to check if I can't find my thing listed. Did you buy my thing?
I wanted to get it on camera, so yes, I did. I wanted to get your reaction.
Hey.
You're amazing.
Legend.
What a legend, Randy.
Randy, this call has cost you money.
I would have changed the price for you.
I know, but I wanted to get your reaction. Like, I wanted to see, like, because that's worth the money to get your unique reaction. That's all it is.
Well, that's massive. Thank you for buying, Ash.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
That's really really made our day, and like our journey starts really. And who would have thought that it would start with Randy? This is just badass. You guys might have one more thing to ask. I wanted to ask just like one more question of you, Randy, and that's about, I watched your video as soon as you uploaded it when you realized that, at least on paper, you were a millionaire. Can you like just take us to that moment? I know your position has changed slightly.
Okay, yeah. So,
token, but
so I am. I had just finished like a 5.5 hour live stream. Well, my second live stream for the day, because I did one in the morning, And then we had some drop, and then we had another drop in the afternoon that I was on with Foster Hill and Henry Pagliuca. And then after the drop, we had Cavell Anderson join us as well. It was like a 5.5 hour podcast. It was nuts. And I just like, okay, my back is destroyed from like sitting and standing. Like, so I needed to go in the lay on my mattress. And I watched an episode of Gilmore Girls, A Year in the Life. And it was, I love that show. So I watched it. I just started it again with my girlfriend. It's so good. And I wake up to like I don't wake up, I X out of the show, and then I get a bunch of text messages and things from Omi, and notifications saying that like Omi's on the move, Omi's on the move. Like, oh, what? So I go and I take a look and do a quick calculation, and it's like, oh my god, I did it. So it was like 7:30 at night, and I had like about 30-ish minutes before I had to do another podcast with this guy JP, and I make a video, and I text my friend Lou and my friend Dan. I text my girlfriend. I text my friend Nick and Meg, and then I text my parents, and it said like, "Hey, I don't have time for a phone call right now because I have to stream in like this is after I finish the video. I have to stream in like 8 minutes." And it's like, I just wanted to let you know that I just made $1 million. And then of course, so I said I don't have time to call, and then my girlfriend just ignores me, and then she calls me, and I'm because I have to stream, so I'm on like the toilet, and I'm crying, and I was like, "Hello," and she's like, "Babe, what's wrong?" I was like, "I did it." So that was so special. That was really exciting. That was, but that was more like intimate. That was more. It was really just for me. Whereas, there was a couple people that were excited that were on the journey with me for a while, and they were excited with me. But the big thing that I was more excited about was actually Disney, because I went live streamed as soon as that happened, and I got to celebrate with everyone. But yeah, that was my night. It was I think what night it was. I think I have it saved. Do I have it saved? Yeah, October 9th is I think that's live stream. So October 9th I realized it, and I was like, oof. It was a good time.
That's so cool.
Awesome.
Guys, do you want to ask anything else, or Randy, anything else that you wanted to mention?
Well, you said before that it's like I don't have the cojones to go all in like you. But how old are you? If you don't mind me asking. 35. So if you were 5 years younger, would you go all in? Like right now? You wouldn't.
No, I think I'm inherently quite risk averse.
Okay.
I think I'm not that kind of guy.
All right, because part of the reason why I go all in on a lot of these things is I think like, okay, well, I can always make more money. I'm not going to starve. I can eat like beans and rice. It'll be fine. And I'm young. Like if this blows up, if like aliens attack and like I lose everything, okay. I'm still 30 years old. I guess I'll be 31 soon. I'm still young. I'd probably be a millionaire again by 40 if I had to start over right now. It would suck. It would suck the big one, but I'd do it again. So yeah.
I love it. I just respect it so much. Yeah, your passion's just something that just leaps off the screen. And like I said, when you first popped up, when I started recording on Zoom, I was like, I feel like you've already been speaking to me already, and which makes me sound like a psychopath. But Matt said the same thing before. It's like you do have these real intimate live streams that you do on YouTube, which is just like a really cool. I think that's a really cool element of this ecomi / VeVe community. It's still small enough that people are still really like cool with each other and responsive and supportive, which I think has been a really nice kind of entry into NFT world. But anyway, I really want to say thanks heaps to you for being part of this. Whereabouts can people find you, Randy?
Twitter. So I mean, you have my Twitter, so I link that down below. Yeah, YouTube and Twitter. I answer in the order in which I respond to things, I do have. Well, the one that I didn't really expect anyone to go into, but I have a couple people into now is on my Patreon. There is a thing called Family and Friends tier, where it's like $100 a month, but you get a cell phone number that you could text whenever. So I'll answer those always first. After that, it's going to be some YouTube comments as quickly as I can, Twitter messages, maybe Instagram messages. But yeah, if you leave a comment on YouTube, I've never missed a comment, so I'll respond there.
Randy, just before you go, are there any Ecomi Jesus t-shirts out there that I can get hold of? Is that coming?
No. What I guess I could do was I could take that drawing.
Hey,
That
we've
somebody
got
did.
29 gems, don't we?
Yeah.
You do. I think I would be able to take that drawing that somebody did of me, and you could probably put it on a shirt.
Yeah, that's a t-shirt waiting to happen.
Yeah. I have to see how to do that. I don't know anyone's screen print embroiderer. Also, that's a lot of color.
There's
a lot
plenty of
other-
yeah.
Patreon, you can hook it up with.
Oh, true, of course.
Yeah.
I wonder how. So I guess nobody really knows because I have a meow 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 shirt. The real Randy Chavez, and I wear that to the gym sometimes. But I think that's okay because nobody there really knows, like what it is, but or who I am. But if I wear a shirt of myself to the gym, I don't know how. Like, I don't know what that would be like. Or there's this one guy, Rocco, there that he likes all my stuff. He listens to me a lot. That'd be really weird to see him there with a shirt one day of me.
I feel like there's a Rocco at every gym.
There is.
Randy, really appreciate it. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
And we'll definitely be interested and just passionate for seeing you on your journey.
Yeah.
Thanks, heaps, Randy.
Thanks, Randy.
Yeah, it was good.
Randy.
All right, I'll catch y'all later. I'm off to the gym. All right, bye, guys.
Later.
Yeah.